release a good product or get embarrassed. Choose one or the other. I don't give a shit. No, that's terrible. Good relationship is 100-100. They have gone silent. Nobody is returning my emails. And remind them that compliance doesn't really cost anything and gets rid of all this bad press. Taras says, Taras, I'm always going to get that wrong, says, you guys are too kind to Bambu Lab and elegoo. So we kind of have to be. This is something that I wanted to talk about. Thank you for bringing it up. We have to be. So here's the problem. Everybody already thinks that we have crusades against Bambu. We don't. We just call them out for their bullshit.
Also, it doesn't help they are the biggest player in the industry, right. So there's always going to be more drama coming from bigger players.
Well, you know, people are going to always try to defend the multi-million or multi-billion-dollar organization for reasons I don't understand. These companies do not care about you, and they never will. Okay? But we are actively trying to not be the Keemstar of 3D printing, okay? Our goal is to not just, you know, give you the drama update on what's going on. And it's why we're kind of switching our style of, you know, from just calling companies out and, you know, demanding they do something to saying, all right, if you're not going to do something, I will. And as soon as we do it, we're going to do it with professional testing facilities. We're going to pay a bunch of money to get it done. And then, oh yeah, I'm going to bring in every news organization for 3D printing in this as well. So as soon as we have all of our information, they have it too. So the day that we release our video, they release their papers. And we will start to own the SEO under these companies' names. They can pay all day, but they're not going to hide the bad press. And unless they get out in front of it, or they be reactive and they fix it retroactively, right? They fix it they fix it later on, and then we'll make a correct. Then we'll come out and say, "Hey, this worked. They fixed it." But we are not. We shouldn't be. We shouldn't be the channel that has to keep everybody honest. We are too small of a channel to do that. I hope that larger creators join in and help us. There's open invitations to any creator that has access to this kind of stuff, that has a bigger audience than us, obviously, would be great. Smaller creators are fine too, that want to join in and help us. But ultimately, we can't just cover this stuff over and over and over again. It's beating a dead horse, and I don't like it. You know, look, there's not a lot of great things going on in the world right now. Yes, there are things to be very happy about. I'm sure there's things that people are enjoying in their lives, but you know, if you turn on the news at all, you're just going to be depressed. And the last thing we want to do is provide a similar atmosphere on a YouTube channel. It's not what we're about. John Stern says Americans should learn that the word crusade is not parsed the same around the world. Yeah, you're fair. You're right. John Stern said Tom Sandlotterer, now made with layers, used to talk a lot about open source or biased news. He did. And recently he has stopped. He has stopped. And I'm going to make an assumption on that is because stopping was better for his wallet.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, to put in perspective, doing this type of news is actively bad in a way that not many people understand. So this is probably like an exclusive inside information of how a business works. Mm-hmm. We were literally given advice, do not give machines to Tom. Just straight up, don't give machines to Tom.
Oh, he'd be the one I'd want to give a machine to.
He's the one that I was on the #1 at the top of my list of I want to get a machine to him because he will exactly tell me what he thinks.
Yeah.
And it will be great.
It's like jerry-rig everything, getting a phone. I'm sure phone companies don't send him stuff to do what he does to it. He has to buy some of them.
And except, like, when we were setting up, we had several people in the 3D printing industry when we were, like, trying to ask for, like, advice of what we should do and how we grow and all of this, literally turned around and said, don't give your machines to these specific YouTubers. There was, like, 5 of them on the list. And it was like, Tom was in that list. And it's because he will tell a community, you're not great if you're not great. Now, while we didn't have a risk of that, it was still something that I thought was really not concerning, But it was getting around on the factory side of business is don't trust the YouTubers, even though they're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
And that is
I'm sure we're on
it's
that
a hard
list.
thing to swallow.
Yeah, I'm sure we're on
definitely.
that list now. And it's why we get less and less and less and less companies reaching out to us.
Yeah. Also, Tom, if you're watching, you can always have a machine from us. Just send us an email and we'll sort something out.
Yeah.
I love your content. Like, I don't want to make this little story about don't give a machine to you, meaning we're not going to give a machine to you.
Right.
I actively like you as a personality on YouTube and how you do your stuff.
Yeah, and even Tom's given up. I mean, he's said pretty much the same thing, that he had a whole video about Bambu winning, and that video was more of like, it's not that Bambu was winning, it's that he was losing, and he needs to change the way that he produces content to be more of what gets views, right? Mm-hmm. And
I mean, hell, we've got live knowledge about that with the new Go Subscribe to It, Making Awesome channel, where it's higher quality than we're doing now, but the algorithm isn't picking it up very well. No. And that's because we are kind of talking about a niche of niche problems in a niche industry, but the numbers should be much higher for the quality of the video. And it shows the scale of our industry. It's not that big. And if you don't change how you're doing stuff, YouTube isn't going to be the right place to grow the content. It is a good place to document content, no matter what. Because if you've got 1 view or if you've got 1 million views, your content is still there. But if you're going for success, your viewership is important. And if you don't change after you're getting your feedback from YouTube going, hey, your viewership is down, it's a death spiral.
Yep. And you know what's funny? We are actively not following what YouTube tells us to do. See, I know that the secret to us making a really successful video is me yelling at a company. Every time. You get me pissed off at a company, 10,000 view minimum video. 100,000 if it's Bambu. I can guarantee 50,000 views on a video about Bambu when I'm mad at them. Guaranteed. Because that's what people want. They want that drama. That's what pulls them in. And I'm not about that life. I'm not about that life. I am happy to get upset at companies that deserve it and for the right reasons. I'm not happy to falsify my own emotions. That's not the kind of channel that we are. And the same way, we are never going to temper any content whatsoever because a company might not work with us again. Release a good product or get embarrassed. Choose one or the other. I don't give a shit.
Grant is all about doing the right thing. And those type of things are actively not the best decision for YouTube.
It's terrible for business.
YouTube just wants drama or excitement or both and nothing else. And even like me being here on the channel, I don't see this as a profitable venture for my business, which is what I should really be focusing on, is making money for my business. What I see this as is a way to show the ethos of the brand that goes behind what I do, even if it means that I am burning money. And as a marketing person will tell you, that's a good thing. You are buying mind share, hate that term,
it's terrible
with
term.
The time that I'm spending here, because people will now know me as the I care person.
Yep.
Like I am the face of safety.
Yep.
That is what I like. It's not good for YouTube.
No.
It's like Grant being here and telling you like, hey, GPL is good, but we should follow it and all that. It's not good for his channel. Like he should be doing Mr. Beast level stuff if he wants to grow rapidly and sensationalize everything. And we don't do that because we value our morals more than, actually, I shouldn't say morals, it's ethics. We value our
morals
personal
and ethics. It's a bit of both. You know,
but either way, we value that more heavily than success. And that is both a good thing and a bad thing.
This one's a bit of like personal advice for people, but it works out in business too. You know, they say a good relationship is 50-50, right? And a lot of people say a good relationship is 50-50. No, that's terrible. Good relationship is 100-100. Each person is giving 100%. Each company is giving 100%. And when we see companies dropping below what I think is a reasonable level, right? We're not asking a lot here. out of elegoo. We're simply not asking a lot. What are we asking? Follow the rules that you agreed to when you integrated Clipper to some level into your firmware. You agreed to those rules. This isn't new for you. This isn't a surprise, and your company has benefited heavily and likely only exists because of open source. We're not asking a lot here. This is not like we're asking you to run an ultra marathon. We're asking you to upload the code, the thing that you should have done. Right? This, and the fact that the company is just dodging it and refusing to do it, that's the thing that pisses me off. If they were accidentally in non-compliance and they upload it within a week of you asking, great, problem solved, and they'd get a video showing that they're good. But instead, they don't. It's funny. We were initially on the reviewer list for the Centauri Carbon. When they asked us to make a certain type of video, and I don't want to go into it because I'm not here to just flame companies, I said, we're done. If you want us to show the printer, by all means. If you are paying us to compare your printer to another brand, that's not how this works. A third-party company can pay us, right? If there's a random company that wants to sponsor the video where we compare these two brands of printers that they don't have any share of either of them, great. But you're never going to compare a Centauri Carbon to another really well-known brand and take money from elegoo to do it. That's bad for business. And so, we've talked about it plenty of times, and this is not like some pity party, to be clear. Our YouTube channel, on average, costs between $2,500 and $3,500 a month to run. And now with the new editors, it's much closer to $3,500. Between all the income streams that we have for YouTube, and that's YouTube, PayPal, Patreon, that's the channel members, the donations, and all that, we average about $1,800 to $2,200 a month. Now we're entering into Q4. Q4 is the only time of the year where we're ever profitable. Traditionally. I don't know if it's going to be like that this year, but Q4 is normally when we're profitable. We hemorrhage money every single month, and I work my ass off here at the shop to make sure that we can afford to make these videos. And the reason that I do that is because we are unwilling to even get close to the moral or ethical line when it comes to working with brands. It's not worth it. The money is not worth giving it up. Yeah, John Stern, the Cheedy Q4. No. So, Cheedy was supposed to send me their latest machine. They have gone silent. Nobody is returning my emails. Nobody. They promised me in writing that I would be in the beta group for their next machine, which would have been the Q2. We're not. Why is that? Probably because I called them out. And if that's the difference, so be it. I'm okay with that. I don't mind. But the same way that we had a random marketing agency reach out to us 3 separate times to review a company's machines. This company happened to have a USA-based phone number. So I called them. I said, hey, are you aware that such and such marketing group is sending out emails on your behalf trying to get reviewers for your products? And they said, let me check. Yes, we have contacted them. I said, awesome. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be a waste of my time nor a waste of yours. And we got to talking. And so he's like, yeah, if you don't mind, copy me in the emails you send back. This marketing agency replied back to me saying, hey, we don't need to copy the USA counterparts. They're aware of it. And I'm like, nope, they requested it. Sorry, they're staying in this. And I think that the marketing agency's like concerned that like we're copying the USA counterpart for a bad reason. And I'm not. But it goes to show that putting in just a little bit of effort, to verify that everything's legit makes your life so much easier, in my opinion. But yeah, there are a lot of companies that do it right. There's a few that do it wrong. And I think that as users, as people with voices, it is our duty to make sure that we keep them honest where at all possible.
Keep them on the straight. Like,
and
if
remind
somebody
them,
has to, even if it does nothing and it's screaming into a void, at least we can scream into a void and feel slightly better about it.
And remind them that compliance doesn't really cost anything and gets rid of all this bad press. Just saying.
Before I, let's say, got a proper vehicle, I wanted a motorbike. And if you've ever met my mother, she's a very lovely woman, a little bit overprotective in just the right ways. Like, Jacob, you're not getting a motorbike because you will bloody die in Lincoln.
Maybe she's overprotective because you've proven to not be safe.
Well, I didn't prove it then, but I definitely proved it in the coming weeks after she banned me from getting a motorbike. What I got instead was a 40-pound plank of wood from Amazon, which was a longboard. I replaced the shocks on it with just off-road, like, mountain bike trucks. 3D printed gear chain, 3D printed motor bracket, 3D printed battery mounts, and I strapped 8 kilowatts of motors to a 40-kilo plank of wood plus batteries. I had the same power to weight ratio as an F1 car.